going to preach about divine presence. What is divine presence? Divine presence make you very special and unique. It singled you out for a purpose to work for God. It brings a relationship that is greater than any other people around you. Abraham was called out of his household to a place he does not understand. During those times, he had a relationship, and his divine presence was known by even the king of the Egypt, the Egyptian king. He wanted to sleep with Abraham's wife, Sarah. But when God touched the king, he took himself away. That is divine presence of God. He took some numbers of people of slaves and family. Lot. There were not so many. But when he got to some few years, he had an army. People controlling to fight like a nation. They were fighting nations. That is divine presence of God. You have to have faith, hope, and love to meet this. Those three things are connections to build a divine presence. We cannot have it if we don't believe it. Because you have to believe Christ. You cannot have a divine presence of God if you are not born again. Born again means your whole style is different. You are a new image. You are a new body of Christ. Then you listen. Then you have a relationship. Before we go to church, we listen to the sermon, we come back home. The next Sunday we wait again. Or we read the Bible, we don't even understand it. We don't even follow it. It's just like a storybook. But when you are born again, you take the Bible seriously. You take every word seriously. That is divine protection. That's the divine presence of God. Abraham, Moses, Daniel, the three Hebrews, Elijah, Elisha, Jeremiah, they have divine presence with God. Without this, you cannot talk to God. You cannot walk with him. You cannot be his friend. You have to be a friend by getting close to God. Are you in the house today? Just taking the words of your prophets or your pastor or your teachers in the Lord. You have to work your own salvation. Your prophet will not work it for you. Your prophet will be judged. The angels will be judged. You know how to call the angels. You know how to do anything. The angels in the last day are going to be judged. You are going to be judged as a pastor, as a prophet. We are going to be judged. We have to preach the good news. Without knowing this good news, we are not working for God. It's not by prophesying. It's not by calling 25 angels. It's not by doing some spiritual works that will not save you. Nothing will save you. The river will not save you. The mountains will not save you. It is your walk. It is your faith, your hope, your love, and believing it's everything. Then the divine presence will come in. I will tell you today, you don't have it, you are far away. Moses was special. You can be special. As a Christian, the book of Romans 8:32 told us, it said, when you are born again, you can have everything The word is your possession. Automatically, you shall be given. It might be delayed for one spiritual reason or not, other. It might be the enemies, they will come. But remember, they will not last. They cannot be victorious. When you know Christ, He's going to fight for you. But He has a timetable of doing things which any human being cannot comprehend. Even the enemies cannot understand. It's something fathomed by Him alone. So when you have this, you have to have faith. The Bible tells us that he that cometh to God must believe, and that He is a rewarder of those that diligently seek Him. You must understand that before you come to Christ, you must believe that He is. Before you can go on, unless you are wasting time. You have to believe that it is only Him we can have this salvation. We must believe in the cross of Christ. We must be able to walk closely with Him. They said to Moses, if your presence will not go with us, carry us not further. Through faith, the Hebrews crossed the Red Sea with the presence of the divine presence that God was with Moses. Moses moved with divine presence. The road was blocked. The enemies were behind. On the right side and the left side were mountains, nowhere to go. And this Red Sea was in front. You can't jump into it unless you'll be drowned. It's a sea, it's not a river. Even the river, you cannot jump into it. No, now they are confused. But the divine presence make a way. When 3 million Israelites could not do anything except one person with a divine presence. If you have divine presence, you have God. You have to be clean. You have to be born again. You have to talk to Him. You have to. Nobody is perfect. Your prophet is not perfect. I'm not perfect. Your pastor is not perfect. You might look at him as a small God. He is not perfect. The Bible tells us everybody is a liar except God. Don't let us fool ourselves. But without faith, it is impossible to please God. Hebrew 11:6. Without faith, before you can come to His presence, you have to have that faith. You have to be hopeful. You have to believe that Jesus Christ died for you. When John was about to baptize our Lord Jesus Christ, there was a voice from heaven that said, surely this is my only beloved. So I send Him to this world. That is divine presence. There will be a mark. There will be a sign. Without it, it's difficult to talk to God one-on-one. By grace, we can talk to Him and ask and do anything. He's going to do that for us. I mean, talking to a lion, hungry lion, and the lions are just like calm. They calm down. They could not do anything. They were hungry, but they can't do anything. That is divine presence of God. Divine presence of God took the three Hebrews with their faith, hope. They were hopeful that they will not bow down to any king or his idol. They believe that even God will save them. And if he does not, that is love. We shall not bow down. They refused. And this divine presence took them to the fire, and the fourth man appeared. Jesus Christ appeared. In every tribulations of your life, Jesus Christ will appear to you. Every obstacles in your life, Jesus Christ will appear to you. No weapon fashioned against you shall prosper. Every tongue that comes against you shall be condemned. This is a fact. We have to have that faith. Divine possession, divine presence is impossible without faith. I'll tell you, divine possession took a fugitive back to the palace, to Egypt, and faced and challenged the king that knows that you are a fugitive. You are the most wanted person in Egypt. Moses went not on his own, but by divine possession, by the divine presence. When you have divine presence, the enemy will shake. The fire will melt out. The water will divide. Isaiah said it. We shall go into the water, and it will not drown us. We shall go into the fire, and it will not kindle us. We shall find a way out. When you have the divine possession, you will be fulfilled. You will be fulfilled in many ways. Anna had a divine presence. When Eli came to him and was laughing that you are drunk, but Anna was fulfilled. She had divine presence, ignoring what the priest was saying. And his divine presence completed our mission.